What's good people, and welcome to the Silly, Nerdy, Sometimes Wordy podcast. And I'm your host, BK, and this is episode 48, Unmasking Deadpool and Wolverine, spoiler review, my nerdy thoughts. And in this episode, join me for a deep dive into Deadpool and Wolverine, the third Deadpool film, the only MCU film, as I go heavy into spoilers from my point of view. So join me for that. All right. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody is doing very, very well. I'm back with another episode focusing on the film side of things, talking about a spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine, spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, it stars Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Director is Sean Levy. He also directed Free Guy. And this is the third Deadpool film in the franchise and the only MCU film of 2024. That's why we only get one this year, but we get more than one next year, which is great. 3 to 4 next year, I believe. And I'm going to be going spoiler heavy into this film, so this is your last warning. If you have not seen the movie at this point, please stop listening. Go watch the movie, come back and listen to this. Unless you want spoilers before you see the movie, then that is your prerogative. But you have been warned, as this is your last warning for this spoiler review, because I will be getting into all of it. All right. So, this movie, I really enjoyed it. Had a good time with it, and I wouldn't mind seeing it a second time. It definitely will be getting the Blu-ray to watch the production stuff to see how this was made. And starting off in no particular order, but I will start off with the top with the opening credits. Very genius, very nostalgic, using the music of NSYNC, particularly the Bye 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 song, which was a huge hit back in the day, the TRL days, that music video and the song itself. Using that music as he was doing the choreography with it and killing the TVA agents. But starting off, obviously, Deadpool addresses the camera as he does throughout the film and all the films, talking about addressing Logan and how to handle that and make sure that is done the right way. And so, interesting way, unique way, funny way that he's killing the TVA agents with the bones, the adamantium bones of Wolverine, of Logan. And the way they were doing the opening credits as he was killing the TVA agents, the credits were actually on the bones in red, in blood. And by the way, this is Disney/Marvel Studios' first R-rated film in the 10 plus year history of the MCU. So having those credits, the names on the blood of the bones, that was pretty cool. And using the adamantium bones of the dead Logan of that universe. Very interesting and unique. But using the NSYNC and the choreography. So very interesting the way they did the credits and the opening credits of the film. And I really enjoyed that. Gave me a good laugh. I was laughing the whole movie, actually. Now, like I said, I'm not going in any particular order. Let's go to the jokes. Mainly the inside jokes as we would like to say, inside baseball, in terms of the jokes in regards to Marvel and Disney and Fox and the shot at DC without saying DC. And this was also kind of a love letter to Fox, to all those Marvel comic book films from Fox over the 20 plus years. And all of those jokes work for me. It worked for me because, obviously, for one, I am a bit of a nerd because I've seen all of those X-Men films from the Fox days, and the Elektra film, the with the Daredevil films, the Spider-Man film. I've seen all of those Marvel films, the Fantastic Four films from Fox, except for the very last one. I didn't see New Mutants, but all of those X-Men films, I did see that. So when he's referencing jokes in regards to Fox and where they're in that void, having some of those variants of those X-Men characters, it all worked for me because I understood it. Now, understanding there's probably people that haven't seen all of those X-Men films, or some of them, and the jokes probably went over their head, which is understandably so. But for me personally, all the jokes worked, as well as the speech, what he was giving in terms of the multiverse and how things are not, it's not working, which obviously it hasn't been working. It's been hit and miss. I thoroughly enjoyed all of the jokes when it came to that, especially the montage as they're going through the different Wolverines, and you get to the Henry Cavill reveal, and he takes the shot at DC. Thought that was very clever, doing that without having Cavill say it. So I really, like I said, I really enjoyed all of the jokes, had me laughing, and I understood all of them in terms of the Marvel, Disney, Fox, and some of the other things as well. And yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed it as well. And then, of course, the Blade movies, when those was mentioned. And then, speaking of Blade, let's get to the cameos. All of the cameos, I enjoyed them. And again, they work for me. They also work for me because I obviously know those characters from previous films, but it also served the story. It moved the story forward in having those cameos come into play in the jokes. Particularly very surprising to see. It's very cool to see Blade, Wesley Snipes come into there. That was very cool to see. And then you see Chris Hemsworth come in there. Not Chris Hemsworth, I'm sorry, Chris Evans. Well, Chris Hemsworth was there briefly, but Chris Evans come in there. You see him, you thinking he's going to be Captain America, but he's reprising his role as Johnny Storm. If any of you remember, Chris Evans has been a Marvel character. Before he was Captain America, he was Johnny Storm in 2 Fantastic Four movies way back in the day. So that was cool to have him in there instead of Flame On, instead of, Avengers Assemble. So very cool to see him. Very cool to see Jennifer Garner as Elektra, and the jokes with Daredevil. That was pretty cool. And of course, the Blade cameo with Wesley Snipes, because Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds, for whatever reason, never liked each other during and after that last Blade movie, but they got him to come. So very cool. And then getting Channing Tatum to come and do the Gambit role. Of course, if you don't know, Channing Tatum is a huge fan of the character of Gambit, and he's been trying to get the Gambit movie made for years and years, and it's just been stuck. It just hasn't happened. And for him to come in there and kind of make fun of himself, but the accent was not great, but he did a great job in kind of laughing at himself. So I really, really enjoyed all of the cameos, the run through all the different Wolverines, uh, and the reveals, and all the different X-Men characters and some Marvel characters, and all the references. Like I said, everything worked for me. And then in terms of the overall story itself, the one thing that they brought in from the overall MCU obviously was the TVA, bringing that in from Loki as the through line. The story worked for me. I thought the stakes were high. I really enjoyed it, and so as we can see, the TVA is going to be playing an important role in the overall story of the MCU. And let's see, let's go to the post credit scene. There's one post credit scene, and it's just, Chris Evans kind of saying those things about the main villain. But in terms of the post credit scene, obviously there was no surprise moment, no jaw dropping moment, nothing to move the overall through line of the MCU. And I understand why they didn't put in any, an X-Men reference or something with Captain America 4 or maybe Thunderbolts. And the reason because of that is because this movie was released on July 26th of 2024. And Comic-Con was starting on the same weekend, the Thursday of this of the week, the same week that this movie came out. And so obviously all of the Marvel creators and a lot of the actors were there, including Kevin Feige. And so they already showed the Captain America 4 trailer a couple weeks ago. And because of them being at Comic-Con and giving information out there, the timing, I would say, just kind of worked out to where they couldn't put a kind of continuing story in the post-credit scene, especially also given that they were going to start filming the Fantastic Four film the Monday after Comic-Con, which is the first Monday post after the Deadpool and Wolverine movie came out. So those are reasons where I think that's why they didn't put a continuing storyline through in the post-credit scene. And okay. What else? Obviously, this was rated R. Lots of blood and gore. All of the fight sequence worked for me. The one in the fighting in the van in the car, that was pretty funny. And in terms of I would say there was two things that I didn't like. That was kind of a nitpicky thing. It was cool to see Wolverine put on the actual cowl, the mask, for 10 minutes, and I thought that was very strategic and smart. I liked it overall. It's just I wish the eyes in the mask, I wish it would have showed Hugh Jackman's eyes as opposed to just the kind of the white eyes. It's a very small thing, but I wish, that would have been something that could have changed, or maybe they tried that and maybe it didn't work. And then the other thing I would say is X-23, which is Daphne Keene's character. Now, they showed one final trailer a week before the film was set to release, and they revealed that Daphne Keene, X-23, was going to be in it. And that was, I believe, was a mistake. I wish they would not have shown her in that trailer, mind you, coming out a week before the film, because if they didn't show her in that trailer, I think when they show her in the film as the reveal, it would have been more impactful. And so I just wish that wouldn't have happened. I wish I wouldn't have seen the trailer myself And maybe it's just something I'm probably going to try to do moving forward, is just watched only the first trailer, or maybe just the first and second trailer, and not watch any more TV spots or anything after that, because it kind of spoiled that moment for me. Because when they revealed Blade and Elektra and Gambit, you already knew who the fourth person was. It was going to be X-23, and so that was disappointing for me. Kind of ruined the movie a little bit, just a little bit for me. And then in terms of this film, it's doing really well. At the time that I am recording this, obviously it is number one in the world per Box Office Mojo. Currently, they're at 590 million worldwide, which breaks down to 280 million domestically and 310 million internationally. So it's definitely tracking towards getting to that $1 billion mark. And again, this is the only MCU film of this year, of 2024. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I feel like it's definitely going to get to $1 billion, and we'll see if it catches Inside and Out. I don't know if it's going to do that, but at least get to $1 billion. So this film, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Definitely want to see it a second time. And again, I enjoyed all of the inside jokes with Marvel and DC. Just the one joke for DC, but the Marvel, Disney, Fox jokes. And I thought it was really cool showing the cast and crew of all the previous Marvel films at Fox over the past 20 years. I enjoyed those films, so it was good to see that towards the end as they were showing the end credits. And yeah, this was definitely worth the wait. The jokes worked, the action worked, the story worked, and we'll see how the story moves forward with the movies next year, with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four and Captain America 4, and just the overall MCU moving forward. So definitely enjoyed it. Had me laughing the whole time. Action was good. Ryan Reynolds is amazing as Deadpool, as always. And this was a great partnership in terms of the writing and the execution of everything, with the two minor things in terms of that third trailer. Shouldn't have done that, but they did. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend that you go and check the Deadpool and Wolverine movie out. This was a great movie. Had a great time. And what else? I think I covered everything I wanted to cover here. So yeah. All right. That is all I have for you today. Didn't have any nerdy notes. Just wanted to get right in to talk about this film. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And until next time, we will talk soon.